Mean reversion's when you have gains, and paradigm shift is when you lose money, right? Sadly, it's much easier to recognize in hindsight, and I think, as investors, value investors in particular, it's a really big challenge. If you look at, let's take retail, because retail is a great example of creative construction. What have we lost over the last, decade? We lost Circuit City, we lost Blockbuster, we lost Sports Authority, and I'm sure there's about 5 or 6 others, and certainly on the smaller firm level, there's a number of others that we looked at. There's Cachet, which is a small retailer of women's wear. Coldwater Creek. There's been a number of these that have just disappeared, and a few others like Best Buy and JCPenney that got awfully darn close. And that's primarily been because of paradigm shifts, and it's paradigm shift because of the switch towards online retailers like Amazon, which is just doing a tremendous job at out executing, and has some inherent advantages, because if you look at lifestyles now, you have predominantly dual partner working households, which means that it's easier to shop online at your desk at the office, or at your desk or on your couch at home, than it is to find time during the day to go out to the store. And certainly in most cities, I don't think there's a city in America where the traffic is better today than it was 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 20 years ago. So just that hassle of going out and fighting traffic and fighting the crowds, is part of what I believe is a paradigm shift towards online. And as the delay in gratification of online shrinks to where you're maybe 2 days out, which is not an inordinate amount of time. In some cases, a day out if you're willing to pay a little bit more. In some cases, that day for a smaller subset of items, same day, it's going to continue to shrink, and it's a hard model to compete against. I think, but this is not necessarily a new process. When I started in the business, really on the value investing side, out of grad school in the late 90s, everybody was talking about looking for companies that Walmart wouldn't crush. Looking for suppliers that Walmart wasn't just going to drive their margins into the ground. And now it's talking about, what are the categories where Amazon's not going to crush? What products are, people not going to move to Amazon, and or not going to move to digital distribution, like has been the case with DVDs and VCR tapes and whatnot. That's all moved online. So it's a process that continues, and I think the only thing that's changing a little bit is the pace of it. I've been thinking about it a lot in the last few months. Is if you were to look back over time and see, how long did it take after the automobile appeared for the buggy whip manufacturers to really disappear? And I don't know the answer to that. And to see over time as there's technological substitution or change in behavior, the companies that get obsolesced in this, is that a quickening pace of destruction now than it was then? And I suspect it is, but I don't have the data.